Dobrý den, vítejte u dalšího gramatického videa. Welcome to another grammar video. In the last couple of months I've been speaking about prepositions and cases, and this video will be a transition between cases and a different word class, and those will be the demonstrative pronouns. Do you know what I mean by demonstrative pronouns? In English it's easy because you only say this and that. However, in Czech we have to mind the gender, ten, tato. Then we have to decide what is the distance, how far that object that we point at is, and of course then the cases. But what else could we expect from the Czech language, right? Several of my students tell me that it's challenging, they keep confusing these words, and it's understandable because they are very similar and there are quite a few forms that you have to remember. I want to show you how easy it is, the way I will describe it on this board, and maybe it will help you to memorize how this works. So, are you ready for this? Jste připraveni? Jdeme na to. As I mentioned, we are going to talk about how to say this and that and more. This video is really about everything you need to know about these demonstrative pronouns in Czech. Behind me you see this incomplete chart, and we are going to complete it right away. On this side you see the cases. This is the nominative, genitive, dative, accusative. There's no vocative because it doesn't make sense for these. Locative and instrumental. Above here we have three nouns. Pán, representing the masculine, animate and inanimate, because in this case also it doesn't matter. Pán meaning Mr. or a man. Paní meaning lady or Mrs., representing the feminine ta. And auto, a car, representing the neuter. Tentato means that. We would use it for when we want to point at something which is not in our hand. So I would be pointing at the window, which you cannot see. To okno, that window. Or I see a car in the street. To auto, I'm pointing. The car is not right here. So these are their nominative forms. Tentato, meaning that. We will be working with some sample sentences, which we will use to distinguish the cases. So for the nominative case, we would say to je ten pán. For example, that is that man or the man. Also, remember that the Czech language doesn't have articles, so we could also say that ten can work as the or the. To je ta paní. That is the lady that I talked about. To je to auto, that's the car that I want to buy. Let's go to the genitive case. Our sample sentence is stojí vedle, he or she is standing next to, which takes genitive. Imagine you want to say he is standing next to that man. Peter standing next to that man. Petr stojí vedle toho pána. Vedle toho pána. Toho is the genitive case for this particular pronoun. We're using the same sentence. Petr stojí vedle té paní. Peter standing next to that lady. Petr stojí vedle toho auta. Notice these are actually the same. Toho. Less things to learn. Okay, let's do the dative case. For example, jdi k, go to, jdi k tomu pánovi, go to that man. Go to that lady. Jdi k té paní. The same. A jdi k tomu autu. Clear? I am not focusing on the forms of these three words, but on the demonstrative pronouns. The accusative case, we are asking, vidíš toho pána? Can you see that man? Vidíš toho pána? The same form. Vidíš tu paní? Vidíš to auto? This one stays the same as the nominative case. I said there is no vocative case. And we move on to the locative case. I'm gonna see if I can hold these, have them handy. Mluvili jsme o tom pánovi. We were speaking about that man. Here is Tom. Mluvili jsme o té paní. We spoke about that lady. Mluvili jsme o tom autě. And the last one is the instrumental case. Pracoval jsi s, have you worked with, pracoval jsi s tím pánem. Pracoval jsi s tou paní. Have you worked with that lady? Pracoval si s tím autem. Worked as in repaired it. So there we have it. Pán, paní. The masculine and the neuter are almost the same, except here. The accusative is different. And also, the feminine doesn't really have that many options. Te repeats, so you practically only need to learn a couple of forms. One thing you should keep in mind is that to is not only demonstrative pronoun, but also a personal pronoun meaning it. So it means that and it. That's why I could say to je to auto. It is that car, or that is that car, or that's the car. That's why I ask, co je to? What is it? Or co to je? What is that? So these can stand alone. I could say, tomu nerozumíš, you don't understand that. Or tím to není. It's not caused by this instrumental case. So the neuter, only the neuter, is not used only as a demonstrative pronoun for pointing, but also replacing another noun. Like, promluvíme si o tom. We will speak about that. Whereas, if I want to say, we will speak about her, I cannot say, promluvíme si o té. Té has to be followed by a noun. So there I would have to use their own personal pronouns for ona and on. So we spoke about that, and now we are going to learn how to say that one over there. It's very similar, and you might not know this one from textbooks, but it's so practical because we use it all the time. That car over there, that man over there, that lady over there. And how do we do that? Very easily. How do you say there? Tam. So you take this adverb tam and you put it in front of each. And that's all. You write it as one word. I'm not going to write it to all of them so that this chart doesn't become too messy. To demonstrate, we have tamten pán, that man over there. Tamta paní, that lady over there. Tamto auto, that car over there. That's it. And you use it for all the cases too. I'll show you. Remember our sample sentences, the same ones. So the genitive case would be, he's standing next to that man over there. Petr again. Petr stojí vedle tamtoho pána. Tamtoho. Tam plus toho. Remember, you write it as one word. Now tell me, how do you say Peter standing next to that woman over there? Petr stojí vedle tamté paní. And that's all. Petr stojí vedle tamtoho auta. Let's do accusative. Do you see that man over there? Vidíš tam toho pána? Vidíš tam tu paní? Vidíš tam tu paní? Do you see that car over there? Vidíš tamto auto? See? Very easy. So remember, ten is pointing at something further, and tamten would be pointing at something over there. It's a little bit less specific location. Now you're probably wondering, and how do you say this? This is what I want to know. Okay, now we're gonna go close, and we are gonna point at things that are in our hand or very, very near. Simply, we're going to translate the English this. And for that, I'm going to use the genitive line. I'm going to start with the formal version, because we have two versions. You take the base form, the colorful one, and then you add to after each of them. Tohoto or TENTO. I don't want to write it here really. I'm just gonna add it a little bit so you don't connect these. Tamtento doesn't exist. It's tamten or tento. That's why I want to use this line. So tento would mean this masculine animate or inanimate. Tento pán, this man. He's standing next to this man. Stojí vedle tohoto pána. Stojí vedle této paní. He's standing next to this woman. And he's standing next to this car. Stojí vedle tohoto auta. Adding to everywhere. And for the nominative case, we would simply add to behind the colorful base again. tato paní, this lady, toto auto. We have no problem with toto. Toto means this for neuter, and it's formal. That would be the formal version, and then we have the informal version that you probably hear much more. Instead of to, you would add hle. We put hle, and that would be the informal. We will go to the nominative case. So we would take ten and hle together. Tenhle. We have two demonstrative pronouns, tenhle and tento. They mean exactly the same. They grammatically refer to the same noun, masculine, animate and inanimate, but one is formal and one is informal. So when I speak, I would definitely use tenhle than tento, unless I am giving a lecture or I'm writing. Kdo je tenhle pán? Who is this man? Kdo je tahle paní? Who is this lady? Co je tohle za auto? What kind of car is this? And let's see the dative case. Jdi k tomuhle pánovi. Go to this man. Jdi k téhle paní. Jdi k tomuhle autu. So instead of saying jdi k tomuto autu, which is very formal, you would say jdi k tomuhle. Okay, are you with me so far? I know that this is becoming a little messy, but I am trying to save space and I want to be efficient and I want to show you that this is so easy. So remember, we are translating this. Let's try one more case, for example, the locative with our same sample sentence. Mluvili jsme o tomhle pánovi. We spoke about this man. Tomhle would be informal. Tomto pánovi would be formal. Mluvili jsme o této paní, the formal one. And we spoke about this woman or this lady. The informal one would be mluvili jsme o téhle paní. We spoke about this car. I want you to tell me these two possibilities. How is the formal one? We spoke about this car. Mluvili jsme o tomto autě. Mluvili jsme o tomhle autě. That would be the informal one. Výborně.